Welcome back to a day in the life of the foster triplets. Woo! You should say woo with us, Dad. Woo! So today we have a very special guest. We have our father, Mr. Father Marquin Foster. And today we'll be talking with him just about fatherhood or childhood, some of his fondest memories, and you know, some information for those who are fathers, some advice for those who want to become fathers and those who plan to go down that road, and even husbands too, right, Dad? You have some advice for that too, Dad? Yeah.
I don't know why.
Dad doesn't want to talk about that.
Disclaimer, I don't know how I got into this chair.
You're here, Dad.
This is not my favorite seat.
But he's here anyhow. That's love, right, Dad? That's love. So in light of Father's Day, we have decided to put on our role model. One of our role models, Mom being one, but Dad being one of our role models. Yes. We decided that you would be a perfect person to speak with, you know, because the world, a lot of persons, you know, believe that there are no more good fathers, and we are here to debunk that theory. Here is one. He's sitting with us today, and we are going to just get right into the program. Okay, Dad, so we have a few questions to ask you. So I just like to say first that we had this way of calling you Dad. Instead of saying Dad, we used to say Ad when we were younger. We could not pronounce the D, and so it became a habit, and we just started calling it Ad instead of Dad. I think we stopped when we were around 15 or so, Dad.
No, you haven't.
Not so bad. I haven't. Dad, I have stopped. I found myself doing it once, maybe a few months ago. Right. I stopped myself. But I call that, my sisters don't call that this, but I call it Appa. Is that Korean? Appa. Yeah, I think it's Korean. Korean? Yes. So that's Appa means dad, I think, in Korean, or abuji, but I guess Appa is one of the words that children use. Or less formal, I suppose. So, yeah. So I have a question for you, Dad. So first of all, what was your initial reaction when you found out that Mom was pregnant?
Oh, I guess that's something that is something I don't think I will forget. It was quite an interesting moment, a very delightful and a joyful moment, and it was just wonderfully overwhelming.
This is interesting because Mom always told us how Dad reacted, so I wanted to go in depth a little more of how you reacted, Dad, because I don't want to hear from Mom, I want to hear from you, Dad. How did you react?
Why don't you tell everybody what your mom said?
And no comment, Dad. I was there, but I was not privy to the conversation.
But your mom told the information, so.
No, Dad. Tell us, how did you react? How was?
I don't know if I remember how I react.
Let me put that out.
I remember how I felt. I do remember it was just exciting. It was just a beautiful moment.
So
because I mean, for many of our viewers, you probably are not aware, but we did not anticipate having children. We had actually given up on that possibility. I mean, given up in terms of we weren't trying. We accepted the reality that your mom had a medical concern, which potentially, or based on research, based on doctors' expectations, it would have impacted her negatively in becoming pregnant. So with that knowledge, that history, it was just an overwhelmingly exciting moment.
So you didn't run around. Well, Grandma on my mom's side told me that when she found out that you and Mom were expecting, she started screaming. Triplets rather. She started running around the yard with her hands on her head. What? What? And people thought that she was dying. So in that light, I want to ask you, what was your reaction when you actually found out that you were having triplets? And that triplet girls. That's the question. Because in the Jamaican culture, it's always said that you want to have a male child to carry on your name. So what was your reaction when you found out it's triplets? And oh, sad, how sad, it's 3 girls.
That too was quite interesting because generally I would attend the doctor's visits with your mom. So it used to be something that we did as a team. I don't believe that it was her duty. I believe it was our responsibility that we went together. So while there, we didn't find out the gender when we found out that we were expecting triplets. But finding out that there were 3 of you, that in itself was a major blessing. Not expecting 1 child, but now finding out that we are expecting 3 at once. That was something else.
The first time you saw 3 of us, Dad, I know I've asked you this question before, but the first time you saw 3 wrinkly looking bearless. When you first time you saw us, what was your reaction?
Well, again, I was blessed to have had the privilege of being in the theater when you were being delivered.
Theater means operating.
In the operating theater.
Right.
I believe it is something that every father should have that experience for more than one reasons, other than the fact that you're there to share in that joy. It will help to deepen a greater appreciation for your wife or
yes.
for the person who is bearing or carrying your child.
Yes.
And so I had that opportunity to have been present while the doctors were doing the delivery. And I remember they had put a nurse to remain beside me because it was not a normal delivery. And so I was able to watch the entire process of what was taking place. And to see them get to the point where they took the first one, that was Malika. Oh, it was just overwhelming.
Did you feel like you were going to faint, Dad? Because I hear that some fathers, they faint.
I guess that's why they had put a nurse to remain with me, thinking that probably just to be sure if I would be able to bear through. But I did not feel faint. I was excited about the entire process. I was also concerned for your mom because while she at one point she was awake before she was awake up to the point that they removed all 3 of you,
right,
because they did not want the sedative to cause you to become too sleepy.
Right.
So they were deliberate in not giving her the anesthesia that would cause her to sleep. And so she at some point after they had removed the 3 of you, she started to groan because she became, it's as if when she explained afterwards, she felt as if there was a vacuum, and it's as if she was now
just coming back
feeling
down
as if
after,
she couldn't breathe. And so at that point they had to put her to sleep, and that was an experience. It was an experience. It was exciting, but at the same time I also had to be dealing with my concern for her safety and for her well-being. So I remember when they took out the last person, Michaela, probably she came out singing. As a matter of fact, before they took her out, she was crying. So it was quite, you were crying from inside of the womb. inside of the womb.
Why wasn't that me? I'm the more of the dramatic person. Why didn't I have that dramatic moment? Yes.
I'm sorry, I stole it from you, sister.
No, that wasn't right. That was not right. How do you after we were born? How did you play a role in or every day you adjust to your role as a father?
How did I
Because
adjust?
it was so new and everything.
While it was new, I believe that the Lord had actually prepared me with the maturity that I needed. And I had always believed that it was not just a motherly duty, but that I should be fully involved in the process of caring for my children. And so it was an opportunity and a privilege to share in the bonding moment. And as a matter of fact, the fact that there were 3 of you, I was left with very little option. I don't think I really had an option there. I believe it was just automatic that I had to get involved and had to support Nicole, because it was difficult.
When you say or care, what type of care do you mean?
I did everything. I remember even and in our culture, and in some cultures where you do not have immediate access to certain equipment, if I may say, to assist with making things easier. I remember you had some cold, and we had to, one of you, I don't remember who it was, but was having difficulty breathing. It was Michaela. Your mom just reminded it was you. And so I did what some mothers do, which is they improvise with that suction that they didn't have. And I actually drew the mucus.
That's from my nose.
Yes.
I have to shake your hand for that.
So that fed, he burped, he changed, and he actually worked as a suction.
The only thing I did not do was to breastfeed.
Right.
But you got up with mom when she was breastfeeding.
Every
right?
I got up every time we got up together. What saved us, I believe, was the fact that the 3 of you would awake at the same time, so we would do the process together. And we did what we called a production line. It was fun, but at the same time very tiresome. It was challenging because of especially in those first stages, where first few weeks, months, when you were getting up every 2 hours.
I feel guilty.
No need to be. And we had to be going through this process. It was a production line, and we, in order to keep our sanity and to just enjoy what we were doing, we would sing, we would be talking and finding different things to make light, and because we were so tired. One of the thing we used to wish for most every night was to see morning, because the night was always the hardest.
Oh dear. Wow.
But it was fun.
It was fun? I think what many persons want...
and for clarification, I suspect that some persons are wondering, okay, I didn't say how I removed the mucus.
Okay.
But I leave your imagination, and for the mothers and and for some of the fathers who you would have experienced what I'm talking about. Put it in the chat below. Let some persons who are having difficulty figuring it out. I don't want to cause anybody to have any discomfort and not being able to have their meal.
I think what many persons want to know as well, we've always been asked this question: do you know us differently? And after you answer that question, what was the most challenging time for you as a parent?
Yes, knowing you differently has not been an issue, really. I mean, and that's after the early stages, because of course we wouldn't have known you differently.
Right.
The most challenging for me, I think, would have been different stages, especially when you got to the teenage, just becoming that teenager.
Right.
And I mean, it is a difficult time for most children as they enter into that phase. And so it required more from us in terms of understanding the phase and knowing how to treat each of you individually. Because while you're triplets,
We're different.
you are all different, and so you would react to situations differently, and you would react to being held accountable differently.
Right.
So let's say, for example, if we use one form of punishment for one, it may not have been as effective as for the other.
person.
Right. So to me, that probably would have been the most challenge when you entered that teenage phase when the emotions are very unsteady.
Well, so what was one of your, or you can share more than one, well, no, never mind, one.
Because
One,
so many.
right, one of your proudest or fondest moments from our childhood.
I remember whenever I would get home from work in the evenings, and when you would hear me coming, you would become very excited and you start running around and hiding, and all of a sudden you hear little feet running up and down inside of the house. And that was really very exciting to know that I have 3 children that was excited to see me when I got home.
That's such a beautiful experience. Was there a funny experience that you had while taking care of 3 of us when you were younger? From now,
funny experience.
because Dad and Mama are still taking care of us.
A funny experience. I remember one night, and this was when you were still very young babies. It would have been maybe a couple of weeks after you came home from the hospital. And after we were so tired, I remember this particular night I got up. I remember Nicole, your mom, fed one of you, gave you to me, and I was awake, sitting up, but my brain was still asleep. So I took the baby, one of you, I don't remember who it was, and I remember she said to me, "Marquin, birth the baby." And I said to her, "Where's the baby?" And when I looked, what I actually did was to take the baby, put the baby down between my legs and sitting on the bed.
And you're just like sleeping.
And my brain was fully asleep. And this when she laughed out and said, "The baby is right there before you."
So,
And that was immediately I became awake.
do you have any funny moments from now or from when we were, say, in recent years?
In recent years.
Yes, in our young adulthood. Such a turbulent time for you
Funny
as a
moments.
father.
Oh yes, I know on the spot to go back into my memory.
Right, remind me, I have a question to ask after that, don't we?
You do?
Yes, we do.
Let's try to remember the funny moments. Oh Lord.
That can't remember. This is sad. This is sad, really.
We have
Funny
funny
moment.
moments every day.
There's so
funny
many.
moments are just normal.
Natural. It's normal
natural.
for a family.
And so we're always laughing.
You know what always makes me laugh, Dad? The rivalry that you and Malaika have.
Rivalry?
Oh,
It's
you
not a
mean-
rivalry.
Or
You're-
legendary fight.
Yes, legendary fight.
Yeah.
Oh, Malaika goes, yes, they're always wrestling.
We have a wrestling match.
Yes.
I mean, I always lose.
The
but
frequency of those wrestling matches have dwindled in these years, though. You need to start them back up, Malaika.
Yes, this adulthood thing.
No, Dad. Right.
She's been busy with school.
Okay, which reminds me that we have a question to ask you. I put it right here. When you think of us getting married in the future, what comes to mind?
Getting married in the future. Well, whenever this whole marriage,
Oh, here that goes.
whenever this marriage story comes up, I generally become very uncomfortable. I must confess. I am not there yet.
He's coming along, ladies and gentlemen. He's getting there. I mean, no father.
I'm not there.
No father wants to think of their precious little girl getting married. So where do you say you're going to take your son-in-law when, in the process of courtship, where are you going to take your son-in-law to be?
I'm going to take him to the apiary
Oh dear.
to have a discussion with him.
Oh dear. He's going to have a discussion with the bees, rather.
I'm going to introduce him to the bees.
He will have on a veil, of course. He's going to have on a veil or no veil, Dad.
And
Nobody said that bees don't sting through veils, did they?
They do.
That sounds violent. I've been there, so don't worry.
But,
Okay.
but I'm actually, to be honest, I'm really looking forward to that moment.
Oh, wow. And I think mummies too. What can you say to fathers, young fathers? They're
fathers
just,
in general?
you know, in fathers in general, they're trying to adjust to their role, or maybe they've been fathers for years, but they're finding it hard to connect with their children. What can you say to them?
It's very important that fathers and mothers understand the importance of the role of fathers in the lives of children. One of the fondest memories with my father was having him flex his muscle, and I would go and feel his muscle when he flexes his muscle.
I do that all the
Another
time.
fond memory
Used to?
is
I do it today.
is playing cricket, and he would join us, my brothers and I, while we were playing cricket, and play with us. It wasn't very often, but that memory stood out. Children remember these
Little things.
moments, these little things, and it remains with them. And so it is important that we create these memories, because it will help them in the future. Fathers are not just important in terms of providing financial support
Yes.
to their children. I think that's many times we kind of
Misunderstand?
isolate the roles where a lot of men may think that, and a lot of women also kind of also create that atmosphere.
Yes.
That your duty is to provide for the child. Of course, fathers are supposed to help to teach their children, and one of the things I find that works very well is using different moments as teaching moments, learning opportunities for you to learn,
You and Mom were very
and
good at that.
to leave those
Even to this day.
marks on your mind, because it's very important.
And
So for young fathers, and I want to wish a happy Father's Day to every father out there.
Happy Father's Day!
We know that there are some fathers that have not been true to their charge. I encourage you to step up and to embrace your responsibility. And sometimes you may feel the pressures for whatever reason, but regardless, you have a responsibility, a duty to be there for your children. For those who may feel as if, boy, you just don't know what to do, just start. Just try. Make yourself available. Have conversations with your children, because that will help to build relationship and form bonds, and from there you will find it interesting as you learn about your children, and your children will learn about you.
And I must say that, I mean, children, yes, they like things, they like to get toys and things like that, but the most valuable thing that you can give them is your love
And affection.
and your affection. And they will remember that till the day
And their
they
guidance.
die.
And your guidance,
And your
yes.
guidance. And your discipline. And most of all, even children need respect. So respect your children as well. I think one thing that I'm very grateful to Mom and Dad about was that they were not only loving, and they weren't only respectful to us. They guided us in the fear and admonition of the Lord, and they were not scared to discipline us. When I think about being grown without discipline, I feel like almost like a ship without a rudder, because you want that sense of what can I say, that sense of
if I may interject, I say that discipline is like guardrails.
Yes.
And let's say, for example, you're traveling and you're driving on a road that has a precipice to the side of the road. If there are no guardrails, you're going to feel intimidated.
Yes.
You're going to feel unprotected, and you're going to feel as if you're not sure if you can really navigate this road properly. And it's the same thing for children. Children need guardrails, and the guardrails are discipline, helping to guide them along. So I would say to the girls, if you're driving and you bump into the guardrails, it may hurt.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it stops you from going over the precipice.
I just like to say that Dad and Mom, this is so funny. Dad and Mom had some really interesting punishments, and it wasn't their punishments. It wasn't.
It's obvious it wasn't unto death.
Yes.
They're still here.
Yeah. Mom and Dad found very useful things. So, for example, unique things. So, for example, if I did something wrong, where say I didn't obey on the first call, or I was rude in a certain aspect, Mom and Dad sometimes would still scold me about it, but they wouldn't say anything, and then they'd wait
For a
until
certain privilege.
it was a special moment. Say we were going to the beach, or we're going to do something really fun, and then you have to sit on the sand and watch everybody who goes and plays and is in the water or things like that, and it's to burn
Some of those punishments, they were so memorable that you never
forget them
ever,
to this day.
You don't want to do it again, right? And what I also find with Dad, he was not grown with a lot of hugs and a lot of what should I say, affection. But he displayed. But he made a concerted effort to say, I will not be that way with my children. I will give them what I did not have. So I can go to Dad anytime, and I can look at Dad and say, Dad, I just want a hug, and Dad will give me my hug. And every morning, Dad will come to wake us up. Yes, Dad wakes us up. Please,
yes.
Dad, I find Dad's voice sometimes when he wakes me up very jarring.
I fly up out
You
of my
just hear
Girls.
that deep voice.
Time to get up.
It's time to wake up.
Yes.
Mom will sit and pat your head. He said, "Come wake up, honey." What did that Mom used to say? Up, you mighty race.
Up, you mighty race. Right.
Yes.
But I still find the moments in the morning where Dad hugs us and gives us kisses our cheek and says, I love you. And we don't go to bed without that. Mom and Dad always hug us and kiss us on the cheek and tell us, good night, I love you. And Mom says, I love you more than cooked food. Right? So Mom and Dad have always been affectionate with us. And I mean, if for a father out there, that father has not been present in their child's life, they know that they accept that and they want to start doing so. What is your advice to them?
Well, my advice would be just start where you are. Accept the fact that you lost some very valuable time, and now make it a decision that you will not lose any more time. You're going to try to make up for that lost time by getting to know your children and just being involved in their lives.
And don't give up, it's going to be hard.
Yes, especially if in cases, because we also have to be realistic that there are homes that are broken,
Yes.
where mother and father are not together, and as a result of that, the children are sometimes caught in the middle and experience some discomfort. And if you're a child and that is your experience, we're really sorry that that's your experience. I'm happy to let you know though that when mother and father forsake you, your heavenly Father will always be there. And so even for the men who are now fathers themselves, for many of them, they experienced this very same hurt. And that hurt has transitioned into them actually reproducing that same experience in their children and in their family life. So let me encourage you, break this trend. If it is that you had that experience where you did not get the affection, you didn't get the hugs, just start with one hug. It will be uncomfortable at first, I guarantee you that, especially if you did not get the chance to do it at baby stage or you missed it then, and your children are more grown. It will be uncomfortable at first. It may be very uncomfortable for your child because they're not used to you hugging at this stage. But try to make up, do what you can to actually mend that gap that is there.
And foremost, I have a question, Marina. What was I going to say? Ooh, it's right out of my mind.
Maybe that's a good thing. Next one.
You go. And one of my fondest memories of that, well, I have so many. We love when, for example, if electricity would go,
Yes, I forgot that.
we'd all just play hide and seek. Or we'd sit around and mom would tell us stories and dad would tell us stories. Or dad would push the bed to the pull the mattress over the base, and we'd lie on the edge of it, and he'd put his feet underneath it and push us up.
Right,
We'd
on
lie
our abdomen and hold on to the end of the bed, and dad would push up the mattress like this.
And we'd say up, and dad would go, wow. Or he would do fly. What's fly again?
Dad would put us on his legs and hold us.
I'll sit on the edge of the bed.
What's up on
I'll put you on my feet. I'll sit a little bit far back, high.
Right.
Put you on my feet, just sit
And
on
we
my
would
feet.
sit on
and then
dad's feet.
I would swing you.
And dad would swing us on his feet. That's when we were much smaller.
Yeah,
And remember?
just,
Right, and remember sometimes we just go into there and just put our legs around dad like this.
Yes,
So
or we
dad
used
would
to
go and sit
Dad
on
used to
dad's
have-
feet.
yeah,
And
used
dad
to
used to walk with us hanging on like baby koalas on his feet.
He had one here, and then one on his front, and he'd be walking.
Yes, I remember.
That was some good exercise. Dad. Say thank you. Thank you.
and those are good days. And again, I want to also use this opportunity to show some understanding and some love to those who lost their father.
Yes.
You know, there are some of you out there who on Father's Day is one of the toughest days for you because you lost your father. And so I want to just encourage you to keep the memory alive and to continue to hold on. Don't give up. I also want to highlight my two nephews, Miguel and Morgan. I know you lost your dad early, but keep the memory alive. And let's be faithful, because we believe by faith that if we're faithful, we'll be reunited.
And lastly, that to those who are not fathers yet, fathers also, what can you say as a good man? And I can say that is a good man. That's a good husband.
I have to have a man if he is any less than my father.
I don't think I would be really happy.
Be gone.
I command you to leave.
In the name of the Lord. Yes.
So Dad, you're a good man. You're a good father. An excellent husband. Let me tell you, Dad is a good husband. I mean, Dad left his job to homeschool us, three of us. Yes, and Dad's an amazing husband. Dad would cook. Dad would wash. Dad would clean. Dad would do stuff around the yard, and also help Mom with her work. I would say when Mom was doing her first degree, yes, in psychology, I think
It wasn't psychology.
Was it psychology? Was it guidance and counseling? No,
But when Mom was doing her master's.
Mom was doing her master's.
Right.
My apologies. Dad was there. Dad was literally helping Mom with her work and helping Mom with homework. So I would say that Dad is a licensed psychologist, everybody.
Yes.
I would say that because dad was so supportive of mom. Every day just to see how patient that is, and he does. I have never ever heard my father raise his voice at my mom.
Nicole.
He will. When dad is upset, his voice will get so quiet. Nicole. And my mom is a firecracker. Mom is a, how do I explain this? Mom is still, if mom and dad are having a disagreement, they're both still laughing. They're cracking jokes. I don't know how they do it. but as I said, they have created such an example for us that I am scared of having less of what they have. It's just like it's this standard that I have seen. It's a place. They're at a place where I want to replicate.
You know, my recommendation, just listen to the voice of the Lord. At the end of the day, if we choose, it's most likely that we will make wrong choices. So it's very important that we listen to the voice of the Lord. And so I have no doubt that the Lord put your mom and dad together. And he had a big plan in mind. And when you walk in his way, when you obey his instructions, he will fulfill his will in your lives. So he saw way ahead of time that we were going to have triplets, and he had a work for the three of you to do. And so imagine if we had gone our own way and made our own choices, and we did not we didn't marry. But you know, it's important to let the Lord choose.
And I'm happy that you married mom, dad, because I wouldn't want to look any different. I have a nice mixture. You, mom, nice.
So you like the big forehead?
Yes.
And the full
big brain in here.
And the full eyes.
Full eyes. Woo! I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen. But thank you, Dad, so much for.
I have one last question, Nikki.
Dad, so from
I heard that before.
No, Dad, I forgot my train of thought and I didn't ask the question.
And I was happy you forgot.
Listen to that. From a good man to another man watching, what could you say to someone who wants to be the best man possible? What is the number one rule in being a good man?
Without question, the number one rule is sitting at the feet of Jesus.
Sir?
And
Yes,
when you
sir.
sit at the feet of Jesus, you will be like Jesus. You will take on the characteristics of Jesus. You know, and you'll when you love Jesus, you will understand what true love is.
Amen.
And you'll be able to replicate that. You know, so I think that's about it.
So Jesus makes a difference.
He makes a difference.
So Dad, I want you to do something with us. We're going to sing "We Are the Foster." We're going to say "We Are the Foster Triplets," and we'll see you next time. And you have to add the baritone to it.
Oh. Really? You sure?
But
I'm not
before we do that,
So we're not gonna have a retake on this. So we're not gonna be cutting this video.
No, Dad. So make sure it's on point.
But I just like to thank you all for listening. I know this might have been a pretty lengthy video, but thank you so much. And we'd like to say a happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. May God bless you and continue to support your children and be in their lives. Be that wall, that tower of support and strength for them. I need to remind you to like, share, and subscribe. And if you haven't clicked the notification bell right next to the subscribe button, please do, and you will be notified when we post new videos. Ready now, Dad?
I think I'm ready.
Warm up. Okay, so we are the Foster Triplets. I will see. That's the key I'm going for. Okay, Dad? I will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Good job, Dad. That wasn't bad at all. That wasn't bad. That was good. That was good.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So I just auditioned.
Oh, you're not a part of the
I'm so disappointed.
Yes, Dad, like, you would have to change the name. I'm sorry.